live. We got Harry W. We got Richie from Jets Media, Matt O'Leary, Iowa Jets fan, we're in the house. We got Dom C in the house. We got Steve, live, CEO of the Jet Lounge. So I knew I'd get rich on my channel. See what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Woo.
Jets by $1 million today.
Yeah. And hello, it's Jets Chaos. You want the chaos? So I'm bringing you the chaos. Here's the chaos. You want chaos? You got chaos. You got Jets Chaos. You got 49ers Chaos. You got Let's Talk Sports Chaos. What does it all mean? I don't know. Today we're going to be going over interior, the inside linemen. We talk about our need for tackle. And some people say, do we need interior offensive linemen? Someone just said that today. Someone I was watching, he goes, I don't know if we really need that. Well, guess what is considered interior offensive linemen? The center position. And I don't know that we are signing McGovern. As a matter of fact, all signs point to goodbye, Connor McGovern. It doesn't look like we're going to sign him. And the reason I think it will not, we're not going to sign him is we're simply not going to give him anywhere near the money that he's going to demand. So we're going to need a center. And if you look around the league in the NFL, slim pickings, unless you want to pay, $10+ million or whatever it is. And even at that even then, that's just Connor McGovern. I don't know that there are that many other guys, but that's a lot of money. And the whole reason we're not signing McGovern is we can't afford to pay that much money because we need to go out and buy a quarterback. Because a certain second round pick overall by a certain name didn't pan out, at least not yet. And now here we are needing a quarterback, and that screwed us. But anyway, let's get to the public chat here. Let me see who's here. Call out some names. The return of the Jedi, Rusty Spooner. It's good to see you, friend. Good to see you. Wow, you're going on a lot. You started off talking a lot. And then there's a guy named Jets Chaos here. Twisted is here. And he is Twisted. Harlan Abraham. Good to see you, my friend. Talking Jets with Tigo. What is going on? I don't think we're that late. Are we that late? I think Dom C is late. I don't think I'm late. I came in at 5:00, I thought. And he said that he goes, go live or we riot. It was 5:00. That's not late. You literally said it at 5:00 that we were late when we're not late. 49ers Chaos. I see him here. Maybe get your own name, buddy. Daniel Meehan. Hey, maybe we'll do that, man. We'll look at cards that fit zone read offense. We have a similar offensive line, I think. So when you say zone read, I know it's an offensive zone blocking scheme for the Jets. I don't know what it is for Miami. But yeah, we'll get into that stuff. I think that most of the young guys are going to tell you, Daniel, that they could do it all. And probably so. Shimuel's not. Oh, the link is not working for him. Okay, I'm coming. I'm taking care of it right now. Oh wow, what did I send him if that link is not working? Poor Dom is locked out. Poor Dom C, he's locked out. Let's see. What do I do? I go into my email. I go into here. I go into the Sunday link that was sent at 2:06 p.m. I copy the link. I go to my text. I go to Dom C, and then I hit the paste button and hit enter. And now we wait and see if we get Dom C. Let's see. It looks like it was a different. I don't know what link I gave him for the last time, but all right. We almost got Dom C here. Dom C here is our expert. Without him, I'm just going to talk about John Jingleheimer Schmidt. And like that's the only guy I know, and he'd be our center, and that's it. We could call it a wrap, and we can call it a show. Oh, there's a guy named Avia. Apparently, he plays a little bit of center too, and that's all I know, guys, and we'd be out of business. But I think Tom C is going to make it. Grand Diners, or what's up? He's my moderator. Please don't threaten John Nolte ever again. Especially don't threaten them for attacking J. Cole. Everyone here is allowed to attack J. Cole. No threatening people, no kicking people out for attacking J. Cole. They could say whatever they want to him, and if J. Cole defends himself, block him. That's the rule with J. Cole. He's lost all rights to say anything to anybody, but we're all allowed to pick on him. Okay, that's the J. Cole rule. Vervain, good to see you. Good to see you. Tony Alexio is here in the house. Love that guy. He loves Strevler. And without further ado, let's get cracking. And to do that, we need the man back from Alabama, alive and well, Tom C.
Hey, Jeremy, how are you, man?
I am good. I'm good. Sunday. Sunday. The rain held up for a long time, so me and my wife were able to get out and walk around Sacramento, which is a nice town to walk around. Believe it or not, it's really more of a town than a city.
Oh, very nice, dude.
Very residential. It's like
Yeah.
walking around. If you've ever, I don't know how well you know Brooklyn, but if you ever walked around Diker Heights,
Gotcha.
very similar to that kind of neighborhood. It has that kind of feel. Old houses, every few blocks, then you come to a row of like places, a bar or cafes, and it's just a nice feel.
Well, that's good to hear, man.
Yeah. Look at that. John Nolte's here. Green Bean's here. Guy always starts with me, man. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him. I do nothing to antagonize him. But he's obsessed with antagonizing me. It makes no sense.
It's all in fun.
But look, you're being welcomed. Everybody's happy to see you.
Hey, Harlan.
Both of us. We got fans.
Nolte, what's up, man?
Salty the Nolte.
Yeah, man.
He's a moderator now, huh? He's
Oh, man.
man.
So it's all good, man. What a great week. I got to say that, first and foremost.
Grandize is upset. Don't be upset, Grandize. I was lightly talking. Anyway. Well, we're talking about interior guards.
Interior offensive lineman.
And interior offensive lineman. I'm sorry. And somebody said we didn't need one today. I'm not going to say who, and I disagree because when we say interior lineman, we're including center. We definitely are going to need a center. I think there's no question at this point. I do not think that Connor McGovern is going to be a Jet for very long, which leaves us with what, Dan Feeney?
Yeah.
So I'm not feeling great about it. So I think that we have to get a center. That's one. The other thing is, if we miss on tackle, we don't know for a fact that they're not going to move AVT out. And I don't expect that. But I don't expect it
either. I think AVT is going to. I mean, the goal is to settle in back at the right guard position.
I would hope so.
That's where he does his best work. Exactly. I mean, and listen, he did fine, and he stepped up in a pinch and played left tackle, played right tackle. I mean, he's experienced enough to do so. That's what he did in college as well. But his home and his Pro Bowl ceiling is probably at guard. And you need five. You need 5 good linemen. You just do.
I kind of think it like, he's a good tackle, but he's a legendary guard. Like potentially he's going to be 1-2 in the NFL guard. So
yeah. But the Connor McGovern thing will be interesting. Listen, I'm not of one of the belief that thinks like we have to replace Connor McGovern or else. But I just am a realist and also think that if we're going to bring on a veteran quarterback, tight up against the cap, there's going to have to be collateral damage, and he's probably one of them. He's going to be looking for, he's going to be 31 years old, probably one more payday, and if he can get 3 years at $10 to $12 million somewhere, I think that's more than what the Jets are going to be able to offer him. So You know, if he moves on to greener pastures because of that, you know, thank you for your service. I'm not a McGovern hater. You know, he's very, very, you know, average to above average, you know, middle of the pack. And he had some great games. He had some really good games, and he had some really bad games in his career. And I just think that, like I said, it's going to be a numbers game, and he's probably one that's going to fall on the short side of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, look, I have nothing against McGovern. If he was under contract for one more year anyway, or something like that, or you know, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I wouldn't think of it, you know, if we like if it wasn't that much I mean, even if like 7-8 million, if we had him under contract for 7 or 8 million, I would have no regrets. I'd be like, okay, we got our center is still good for another year. But so there's nothing to do with the way he played. I'm a realist. He was a top 10 center in the NFL. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to, you know, constantly be replaced. Like I don't know why people got so obsessed that we needed to improve or get rid of him or improve that position. It definitely has not been the position that you know where we're hurting. We've been solid.
Yeah. But there's going to be some changes, and there, like I said, the cap and the realistic idea that we're going to have to be paying a quarterback that wasn't in the original plan is going to be a factor. We're going to probably lose some of the guys that we're used to seeing, the McGoverns, maybe the Corey Davises, you know, and some of the other guys. Like I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I would love to bring Nate Herbig back as a backup, but you know, if he can go get starter money somewhere, if he can get $5, $6, $7 million, it's probably more than the Jets are going to be willing to offer him or can offer him.
Right.
You know, so you know, there's going to be the offensive line. Obviously, we all know it's tackle. You know, but it wouldn't surprise me if we sit here in this draft and pick off some depth pieces amongst some of that other, you know, stuff, you know, a backup guard, another center, maybe a starting center. Who knows? But, you know, the class is, I think it's, you know, when we talk about the interior, you know, meaning guard and center, you know, it's okay. I think it's been better in years past. The true guard depth I mean, the true center depth is better than the true guard depth. I think there's not a lot of high end guard talent, like strictly guard talent. You know, there's the guys that can bounce back and forth inside and out. You're going to have a lot of the tackles that were tackles in college that turn into guards in the NFL. And I did not include those guys in this list. You know, two guys that come, you know, straight off by the top of my head, Cody Mauch from North Dakota State. You know, he's probably going to be a guard at the next level, but I'm not including him here. We talked about him in the tackles a little bit. You know, but he's a guy I think that can come in and plug and play, you know, at right guard right off the bat. You know, he'd probably be well up there on this list. Blake Freeland is another tackle prospect. Who else? Jeez. Paris Johnson, the guy we're talking about as our tackle possibility at 13. You know, there's a good chance, you know, he has guard experience as well. So there's a good chance he might start his NFL career inside and bounce outside. I'm not talking about those guys. Those guys we all touched on in the tackles. I'm talking about the guys that are truly, truly centers or guards here. That's what we're gonna touch on, man.
I like it. And hey, look, so I do want to say like one thought, and you just
shoot.
You know, it's not a rich or wonderful top heavy or draft for pure guards. You know,
correct.
You pointed that out. It's
correct.
not.
I don't. And I'll say this before you get into it. I don't have one guard, one pure. I don't have one of these interior linemen as a deadlock first round pick. Now, there might be guys that go in the first round, but the way I graded them, I don't have any with a pure round one grade.
And I'm just saying, with that being said, we still acknowledge there could be a Pro Bowl guard that comes out of this draft.
Absolutely. There always is.
Yeah, there could be some guy we don't even know the name of that's drafted in the 4th round that has an amazing career and makes 6 Pro Bowls, you know.
100%. 100%.
You know, so
doesn't necessarily mean anything, especially at these positions. These are the ones where We talk about developmental players, right? I think the offensive line in particular is really where development happens, because guys have to get stronger. Guys adjust to new positions. There's a lot of tackles in college that can't cut it in the pros, so they move inside. A lot of guys don't have the functional strength to really keep up with the wear and tear of the NFL. They might dominate at the college level, but need to get stronger at need to get stronger in the pros. So
What do you think of Joey Fisher? Grandizer said he's a tackle that's going to probably end up switching to guard.
I got to be completely honest,
No.
Grandizer. I have not watched any Joey Fisher film. I don't want to speak on guys that that I don't really know about. I did a show this morning on Buffalo Jet Fan, and I had counted 148 players that I have watched game film on, at least 3 games or more. That's not including highlights and this and that, and like my all the Senior Bowl stuff. I'm talking pure full game film. So 148 is not that much, considering there's going to be 300 draftable players. But the guys like that, Joey Fisher, I haven't gotten there yet. Still working, man.
Yeah, I thought he was a chess player, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a cool name. That's right. Yeah, he is a chess player, as a matter of fact, Jeremy. That's good.
It's Bobby Fischer. It's the chess player.
Or pool. Is it pool or billiards or chess or something like that?
I know. Search of Bobby Fischer was that movie. Chess player. But he's like, he's like he like lost his mind, kind of like he turned into like a green bean, and he's like just disappeared. I say that so casually. All right. So here's the deal, guys. So we're gonna go top 10, right? You got about 10?
Yeah, I got 10 guys here.
Okay,
I'll tell you a couple of the guys, that just missed the list.
Nice.
No,
I was gonna say that's great. That's great that you have even more. So because people love it when you name the couple of guys that just missed. Sometimes that hits home with some people who know the names and are gonna wonder, what happened to those 2 guys.
Well, Joey Fisher missed the list. I'm kidding. That's a joke. The biggest name probably in the name that everyone is most familiar with that didn't make my top 10 is Jaret Patterson, the center.
Wow.
The center from Notre Dame.
Oh, Rusty's not going to be happy about
I
that.
know. Sorry, Rusty. Sorry. Listen, he's close, and you could you're pulling strings at that point. Like I said, this list is probably the first one of all my positional rankings that I have adjusted post Pro Bowl. So there is, there's going to be a lot more adjustments, like, the tackles that we did week 1. I've already planned on moving and switching some of those guys around, based on what I saw at the Senior Bowl, based on some other, some other game film that I was able to get my hands on, so on and so forth. So this is the first group that is really a post Senior Bowl list, and a lot of the guys on this list were at the Senior Bowl, but not all of them. And that had something to do with it. You have, maybe there's a little recency bias, but you get to see the best versus the best, and that's what I thought was the coolest thing about the Senior Bowl, is you really got to see these guys, play against like guys that are also going to be in the league. So
now you think that Jaret Patterson, it sounds like from where you rank him, if he's not in the top 10.
Yeah, he just missed my top 10. I'd probably say he's right around 11. So he's the honorable mention. He's got the size, he's a big boy, 6'5", 300 plus pounds. He's very versatile in the fact that, he put tons of game film in play at center. And then showcase a little bit this year at guard as well, and work primarily, not exclusively, but primarily at guard at the Senior Bowl, just to show the NFL scouts and people that are watching, the scouts and the teams that were watching, that he has that versatility. And he had some good reps, and he had some really, really bad reps. And like I said, I just think he's he's a little bit, like I said, he's tall, he's a little bit lumbering, he's not very fast in short area. He lacks that, that quickness, that quick footwork that you need. So he also plays with and seems to be a habit or a fault of a lot of these guys. Some of these bigger guys, they just play with their pad level way too high, and they get beat by leverage. And anyone who has Twitter or has access to it can probably see the clip of Jarrett Patterson just absolutely getting dog walked by the defensive lineman from Northwestern.
No.
He literally, I have that clip, Jeremy. I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
He literally gets pushed back probably 15 yards.
Oh, that was Patterson getting pushed back?
Yeah. That was
Oh,
Patterson.
I didn't know that. Oh boy.
Yeah.
He was eating.
So-
He had his lunch.
Yeah, but that kid, Adebaware from Northwestern. I mean, he did that time after time in the Senior Bowl practices.
Jesus
It was
Christ.
like it was really, really something to see and something to watch. I mean, that kid he's only six. I know I'm getting into defensive tackles, but he's only 6 feet tall. But that guy plays with so much power. He's going to make an NFL team very, very happy. Very,
Wow.
very happy. Yeah.
Hopefully ours.
Hopefully. Yeah. So-
Maybe ours. All right. Anybody else? So we talked about Patterson. Who else?
Patterson was the honorable mention.
Okay.
Jackson Kirkland is another guy who just missed the list. He was an offensive tackle at Oregon,
I see him a lot.
going to transfer in, move inside. Again, another tall prospect. Just slow of foot and just lacks he's a guy that's going to need a couple years to really just get stronger before he can make any headway in the league. So he's another guy that I watched a lot of film on and was just he's okay. Nothing too crazy. But so want to get into number 10?
Yeah, let's do it. Drum roll.
Drum roll. Brrr. No. Emil Ekiyor. Emil Ekiyor Jr. He's a guard from Alabama. Is my number 10. He's 6 foot 2.5, 319 pounds. Well put together, well built. He played right guard at Alabama. In 652 snaps in 2022. He let up 6 quarterback hurries, no sacks, and no QB hits. All right. He's an excellent blocker in space. The guy's got very, very good lateral movement. He's a guy that can get into the second level and really drive those blocks, not just pick guys up, but really do damage in that second level. He's also adept at pulling, being one of those pulling guards, kick out blocks, so on and so forth. So he moves laterally and up the field very, very well. He's intelligent. He plays on a good base. He plays with a little bit of an Ashley streak too, which is nice to see, but he plays with a good base. So, good footwork, doesn't get, he's intelligent enough to pick up the stunts and the twists and all the games that they play in the defensive line. The problem with Ekiyor is, he's only got average strength. He just needs he needs to get stronger if he's really going to be able to be a starter in the NFL. He's not a fit for a true power gap scheme. He just doesn't have the strength to do it. So he's very scheme specific. He's going to be an outside zone guy, or a zone blocking scheme, which fits the Jets. What's good about it, like I said, he was a right guard, but he took some snaps at center at the Senior Bowl, and he did it earlier in his career at Alabama. He's a little bit of a waist bender instead of a knee bender, so he's susceptible to some of the secondary or the swim moves or the push and pulls that you see Quinnen do all the time. Like, think of Quinnen Williams when he's rushing the passer, Jeremy, and he does that thing where he'll grab onto you and he'll go that way and come right around. Like, you get somebody that's a little bit off balance or leaning forward, bending at the waist and not really at the knees, you become susceptible to that. And that's the problem with Ekiyor. He's just not strong enough right now to step in and play. In a pinch, could he do it? Absolutely. But he definitely needs to get stronger. And like I said, I question his fit in some offensive schemes. I think he's going to be kind of pigeonholed into a zone blocking outside zone scheme, where he can do some damage. So I have him as a 5th round pick. Right in that mid day 3 spot. He's a guy that's truly developmental. I think he has the chops to be an NFL player at some point, but he's going to need a little bit of time. He's not a guy you're gonna draft and plug in and expect the world from.
So somewhere from 125 to 155, like
Yeah,
picks,
exactly. Right around that range. 5th round.
It sounds like it sounds like a good chance that he's gonna need a year or two. He's a pipeline guy.
He's a pipeline guy.
Maybe
exactly.
he hits the gym. Maybe he's in the locker room. He gets bigger, adds on some muscle, gets stronger.
Yeah, well, he's a little bit short for the position. It's crazy to say 6'2" at guard is a little bit on the shorter side.
Yeah.
But he offers that flexibility where he can play center or he can play guard. And he moves great for a big guy at 319 pounds. He moves very well. So he blocks well in space. He gets into the second level. He finishes the second level blocks. So I think that, there's something there. There's meat on the bone. It just needs to kind of be, developed and shaped a little bit. And that's what happens with the guys that are at like 10, 11, 12 on this list. You can't really expect them to come in and be plug and play starters.
Right. They're not plug and play, but your ceiling for him is that he might, if he does strengthen
all these guys, every single guy that I talk about
they could be a solid
their ceiling is, NFL starter.
Right.
Listen, these guys all have the capabilities to come in and be an alpha starter. Some it'll happen sooner than others. What's up, Cahill?
What's going on, brother?
Yeah. So that's Ekiyor. And like I said, he played well at the Senior Bowl. He wasn't a guy that stood out, but he wasn't a guy that stood out like, wow, look at him. But he also wasn't a guy that stood out and where he said, ooh, like that Jared Patterson rep that is scarred in my mind right now. So,
all right. So that's number 10.
Number 10. And number 9, we're going to move straight inside to a pure center, Joe Tippmann. He's from Wisconsin. He's from Wisconsin. 6'6", 320 pounds in 20 good size. 2022, 758 snaps, all at center. 2 QB hurries, 2 QB hits, and 1 sack allowed. Fair. Tippmann is extremely athletically gifted. He's one of the few offensive linemen that made Bruce Feldman's freak list. He has a sub 5, he's got like a 4.85 unofficial 40-yard dash at 320 pounds. He has a 1.64 10-yard split. So that means the first 10 yards of that 40 he does in 1.64. That would have beat, and those 2 times would have beat any offensive lineman who officially ran at the combine last year.
Wow.
So very, very quick burst, very, 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 very fast. He's elite. I mean that when I say elite. He is an elite pass protector. He pass blocks like a left tackle with those good mirroring skills. He's got a good anchor too. At 320 pounds, he's got enough, enough solid base and a good anchor where he's not susceptible to the bull rush. He can handle that well. But he's very light on his feet and can mirror and pass protection very well. Does good work with his hands too. Good hand placement, good pop. Extends, doesn't let the defensive lineman get in close on him. Again, he's another guy that at 6'6", he plays a little too high at times, so he gives up leverage. Once you give up your leverage, you lose your power. So that's something that he's going to have to, get better at. He tends to lunge too many times. There was way too many game film that I watch of him where he is on the ground. The last thing you want to see is your offensive lineman, laying flat, face mask on the dirt. I'm not talking about like bull rushing the defensive player that you're blocking over in a pancake style. I'm saying that he goes to lunge and loses his feet and he's flat on his face. So he can do better than that. And he just does better work for being athletic as he is. He doesn't block very well in space. He does his best fit, like they call it, in a phone booth. everything within the guard box, from guard to guard, the true one-on-one short area battles. That's where he does best. He has the skill set and the athleticism to get in the second level, but he doesn't finish his blocks well on the second level. He can get there, but he doesn't finish well. So I like Tippmann a lot. I think that if the meteoric rise that they're talking about, JMS, John Michael Schmitz, if they're talking about the meteoric rise, that maybe he goes into the end of the first round or early in the second round. If we miss out on a guy like that, and there's other people that fall on the board. If you ended up with a guy like Tippmann, later in the fourth round, late third, fourth, even late fourth round, early fifth, he's going to be a solid player. I comped him to Ryan Jensen from Tampa Bay. They play the same exact style, and Ryan Jensen has been an All-Pro in this league. Now, I think Joe Tippmann, even though he's a fourth round player, I think that he has the chops that he could come in and start for you right away. But he's going to be he's probably not going to be the best lineman out of your five on there. The best bet for him is to get a year, get acclimated to the speed of the NFL game before you throw him in there. So, but I liked him. I liked his game film a lot. The guy moves for a guy who's 6'6", 320 pounds. He moves ridiculously well. So,
okay,
yeah.
No, that sounds pretty cool. That could be the emergency guy, and it's still, the question is year one, is he better option than Dan Feeney?
I think you're a better option than Dan Feeney year one. I mean, I don't know if that's the comparison. That's a fair comparison. So I think listen, I think he can come in and play. Would it be the ideal situation? I don't know. Time will tell, but he's got the chops to do it, man. He's got the chops to do it. Like I said, if you miss out on your other center, pivot center targets, and he's the fallback plan, I think you're in pretty good shape.
No,
I do.
Okay. Daniel Murphy, Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you.
Who's Don, Daniel? Who's Don? I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding.
You've probably called Don your whole life.
Yeah, I have. So speaking of getting names wrong, I have I got a interview from the Senior Bowl with a Cincinnati wide receiver. It was a real good interview. Trey Tucker, guy that really killed it, man. He killed it at the Senior Bowl. This was blowing people out of the water, like speed and so on and so forth. So I got a chance to interview him. I had such a good 4 or 5 minute talk with the guy. I got it on, he retweeted it out for me on Twitter. Sauce retweeted it out for me on Twitter. And I realized I was calling him Trey Turner as opposed to Trey Tucker. So twice I called him the wrong name. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, shit happens. What are you
So
gonna do?
yeah, well, he's Sauce Gardner would love to have him as a teammate. So
he's very close friends with Sauce Gardner. That's what he told me in the interview.
So we got we had number 8.
We are on number 8 right now.
Guy I have heard of. It's very rare I've heard of your number 8s. I even heard I heard of your number 11. So so now we move on to let's see, we had 10, 9. Now number 8 on your list.
Number 8, Olu Oluwatimi, another center.
Yeah, I know that name.
University of Michigan, 6'3", 310 pounds. He was the 2022 Outland Trophy winner for the best interior offensive lineman. He was a transfer from University of Virginia, so he only played 1 year in Michigan. He was a graduate transfer, but a 4-year starter. This year he had 834 snaps, 4 quarterback hurries, 5 quarterback hits, 0 sacks allowed. Again, another guy that has really good movement skills. He does damage in the second level, so he's he can fit those zone blocking schemes. Like I said, he 4-year starter, has over 50 collegiate games under his belt. So he's a grizzled veteran when you're talking about a 23-year-old kid. And he's very, very smart. He's a very intellectual player. He can pick up blitzes and stunts well. He knows how to when to peel off of double teams when he sees guys coming, so on and so forth. He does all that stuff very, very well. Some of the things that I didn't like about Oluwatimi is another waist bender, so he has balance issues. He's another guy that probably needs a little bit more functional strength. He doesn't, he doesn't drive very well with his legs. And this might be nothing, but to me, I noticed it a lot, especially at the Senior Bowl. He's got very, very small hands. For a big man, he's got 9-inch hands. That's like Kenny Pickett's size. So he has issues gripping the ball. We watched him in practice at the Senior Bowl just short hop 3 shotgun snaps in a row. So I don't know if that's a real thing or not. But he definitely struggled with that. Now, again, 6'3", and a half, 310 pounds. He's got enough size. He's probably, has the capabilities and the size and the wherewithal to hang at center or either guards. But all his tape shows at center. I actually comped him to one of the guy we were just talking about, Connor McGovern. Very similar play style, man. Very similar play style. Connor does a good job getting out in the second level and really doing work in the run game. Can turn his hips, create lanes that way. But at times he struggles against the big rushers, that get up onto him and get where he can't get his hands extended. So that's the same thing that I saw in Oluwatimi's game. He had an okay practice. He wasn't, like I said, he didn't do anything to really stand out during the Senior Bowl week. I just think, he's a good, he's a decent prospect. Another guy, I think Tippmann, because he's a little bit bigger and he's got, Tippmann excels in pass pro. So I think, even though I have Olu rated one spot ahead of Tippmann, I think Tippmann has a better chance to come in and play right away, more so than Oluwatimi. Oluwatimi still needs to get a little bit stronger. And then you need to figure out if he's going to be a center or guard, because those 9-inch hands are going to be an issue for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like an issue. Anthony G says that seems like an issue for a center.
Yeah. And I don't know if you had a chance to see Jeremy or if you had a chance to download him to the computer to pull him up, but I had an interview with Oluwatimi and a couple of the other prospects that we're going to talk about if you want to pull them up and play.
I haven't had a chance to get them onto my computer. That's the issue. Yeah. They come to my phone, and I got it at like 3 minutes before the show started, and I was like, darn it.
Another time. I didn't think about it until the last second. So
yeah. And then because I still have to get them from my phone to my computer. That's not always fun. I think they're short enough that they'll be emailable. So
yeah, but for sure.
Unfortunately, I tried at the last second. I saved them all, and I was like, "Can I do it?" And I was like, "I gotta start the show."
Can't do it. I got you. It's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, I think he's going to be, he's also going to be in that 4th round range. Like I said, this interior class, I don't see, many, high end superstars. So a lot of the guys are going to have kind of that similar, projection grade wise.
And just for Nolte is saying his name's gonna be hard to say. I agree. I'm calling this guy a loose gun. That's a loose gun. Oh, he's a loose gun.
What's funny? What's fun? What's funny is that he went by Victor when he was at University of Virginia. He was Victor Oluwatimi, and I guess that he went back to or decided to go to his original name of Olusegun. Olusegun Oluwatimi.
I'm just gonna say, what about that a loose gun guy? That loose gun guy. That guy's a real loose gun. Okay, instead of a loose cannon, because it's all about just communicating who you're talking about on these shows. But it's the announcers. We're complaining. Think about the announcers. They're gonna have to figure out how to. Oluwatimi is not that hard to say though once you practice it. No,
it's not. It's not as bad as Adetiamawia.
Right. That one's tough.
Adbaware Adetiomia. So that's a little tough. So he went by Olu. I think Olu's easy to remember. Oluwatimi.
Oh, that's easy. Like, oh, Lou. Yeah, that'd be a
Yeah.
great nickname. Great nickname. So he sounds like a guy who might need a year on the bench developing too.
Yeah, I mean, most of these guys. I mean, maybe the top 5 are the top 5 are going to be lockdown plug and plays,
Okay.
or could be lockdown plug and plays. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay, well, let's move along to number 6 on your list.
Number 7.
Is that what we're up to? I think we're up to 7, right?
We're up to 7. Yeah.
All right.
Nick Broker, guard from Ole Miss, 6'4", 305 pounds. Really good season. Even though he did let up 12 hurries and 6 quarterback hits, he played 920 snaps. Again, another 3-year starter, young kid. Super, super good, solid build. Has NFL ready play strength. He's a super impressive run blocker. Like I said, he's long. He's got that ideal measurable size, height, weight, agility, strong lower half. He's another guy, a big guy at 300 plus pounds, runs a 4.8 40. So, I mean, that's something. And like I said, he's versatile, but the opposite way. He's got that guard and tackle versatility. He's a guy that you can push out to right tackle in a pinch if you need it. Although he's, it's, probably not anything I would recommend or would want to do, but in a pinch, you can do it. He doesn't play with the best balance at times. So that hurts him a lot in pass pro. I watched time after time on the Ole Miss film, and then again, time after time at the Senior Bowl week, is he has a tendency to give up the inside. He pass sets. He staggers, and it's hard to explain, but his base kind of, he staggers his feet, like he drops if he's on the left side, he drop his left foot really far back. So that when he steps to that left foot, he's completely off balance and gives up everything across his face. So he got beat time after time to the inside, not only at Senior Bowl week, but also during the season. And on top of it, that Ole Miss offense is very, very unique. I mean, it's all RPO. So you never know how those guys are really going to translate into the NFL. Like it worked for, it's worked in the past. Charles Cross was another prospect who had kind of, people had the same questions, and it worked out pretty well for him. So I'm not saying it can't, but there's always a catch. Is he going to be, scheme specific? But as impressive as he is as a run blocker, he's going to make a team without a doubt. He's going to hear his name probably called in the, that third, fourth round area. I liken him to Chris Lindstrom from Atlanta. Again, same kind of build, same kind of nasty. Just came into the league very, very strong, NFL ready. And that's what I got from Broker.
I mean, what do you do about when you talk about a guy gets beat a lot, because he backs his leg? I mean, are these coachable things? We're gonna have a really
that's technique. That's technique, man. It's all technique.
Right.
That's all it is.
So this is a guy who can develop, and they can coach him through that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think he's just going to be a guard. He'll probably settle in as a league average starter at right guard at some point. If not in the first year, probably relatively quickly, second or third year, he's going to get stronger, and he's going to get those reps and get coached up to the point where these mistakes that have been repeated kind of fix themselves.
Right.
Yeah, and that's Nick Broker.
I mean, we are talking about kids, so I guess
that's right.
It's so funny because any guy you want, us Jet fans. I mean, I think it's any football fan, but I know specifically Jet fans. We don't want to hear any negative, right? We want to know. No, it's like we don't want to hear he got beat. If you get beat once in front of us, we're like, no, he's trash, and we're so overreacting.
That's the hard thing to remember. I mean, the hard thing to practice is that you can't make assessment on one rep,
right?
And I'll take it back to the Jarrett Patterson rep, where he just got dog walked, from the kid from Northwestern. you can't make an assessment just on that one rep. You have to really look at the whole body of work, because
Right.
there was plenty of other reps during the Senior Bowl practice where he was great, and dominated.
Yeah.
He just had a bad rep. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the perfect storm. So, but a guy like this that like Broker that comes from a unique offensive system that really isn't really translatable to the NFL, that's always a question mark. So he probably could have been higher on my list if not for that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So let's move along. We move to the number 6 guy on your list. The
Yes.
number 6 man. Oh, here we are already. It's getting exciting. It's starting to come down to we're going to eventually, we're really close to hitting those players where we're going to be talking about plug and play starters, and that always gets exciting.
Yeah. Number 6 is Ricky Stromberg.
Wow.
Center from Arkansas, 6'4", 315 pounds, fifth-year senior. Plenty of starts under his belt in college. He actually went back. He was eligible to come out last year, but he decided to go back, work on some things, maybe increase his draft stock, which probably he did. Not by maybe a round or two. 898 snaps last year. He let up 11 hurries, 0 quarterback hits, 0 sacks. Super cerebral. He the centers are always the ones who kind of set up the offensive line and control all the line calls, but he's been doing that for years. What's up, Sean J? Sports Talk. Never seen you before. Welcome, pal.
Well, I output this show to a channel called Let's Talk Sports.
Oh yeah, nice.
I'm assuming he might be affiliated with that channel. Yeah, and they air a lot of my videos and stuff, my shows from the past, because they just air content all day. So
gotcha.
I gave them permission to air my stuff, and I appreciate that they do.
Awesome. Good to see you, Sean. Where was I? Oh, Stromberg. Super smart, super cerebral. He plays with instinct, which is always good. Again, a very physical player, strong punch. Can stop defensive linemen. In their tracks. Gets his hands extended. Always plays with good hand placement. Good leg drive. He's a mauler. He's a run game mauler. And again, he's another guy that checks all the boxes that you want in your height, weight, speed, all that stuff. He's got the prototypical build of a true offensive lineman. The problem with Stromberg is that athletically he's just average. He's not the fastest. He does very well at the line of scrimmage, but outside of that, he's not very good in space. He's not the most agile. He's not the worst, but he's just mid. He's a mid athlete. So that's going to lower his ceiling a lot. You know what I mean? Average to poor pass pro is a note that I have here. He gets beat by speed a lot. If the defensive linemen are faster, he tends to lose those kind of battles. He needs to improve that. He needs to improve his footwork and his base also to be able to mirror better in those pass sets. Like I said, good prospect, for this class, comparatively to some other classes, there's been, interior linemen that I've liked a lot over the past couple years, more so than him. He doesn't grade out the same. Very similar game to Lloyd Cushenberry, the center for Denver, where, the same thing where, he at times he's dominant in one aspect, but it doesn't carry over as an overall game. It doesn't carry over to his overall game. He's going to be probably scheme specific to a power gap duo style offense that's run heavy. Something, similar to what Pittsburgh runs, something similar to what the Giants do, what Arizona does, where they're more power gap scheme than they are, inside outside zone. Not saying he can't handle it, but that's just not his strength. So, and that's Stromberg. Listen, last year he would have been a 5th or 6th round pick. Coming up this year, he probably, he probably made himself around a couple extra bucks. Because I got him in the 4th round. I think he could be an early day 3 pick.
So we could take him. If we ended up taking him, There's a chance they could start. He can make the. He can start. There's a chance, right? I
There's a
mean,
chance.
it might be. He might struggle a little bit though, rookie year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ice Force Quest. I'm gonna just say that I think that Becton will stay healthy, and here's why. If I had to
Okay.
guess, I project him to play 13 to 15 games. Because you know there's little knockups. He might hurt his elbow one day or shoulder and be out for a week or whatever it is, you know. So, but I expect him to relatively, be able to play what you consider a full season. Maybe he misses a few games, but plays for 13 to 15 games. The reason I think that is I'm a math guy and I believe in regression to the mean. The fact that he had this unfortunate injury 2 years in a row, like he had it and then it happened again. It makes me think that he's due. That is he really, is he going to get hit with a third year in a row in camp where he gets hurt again for a season and miss a season? I don't think so. He looks really good. He's at the facility working out this year. His weight's already down, and I think that's, I think that helps. I think when you keep your weight under control and you're not trying to lose the weight, I think it's a big help.
Yeah,
Because your
absolutely.
body's not carrying that extra weight. So I think the fact that he's at the facility already down to a good weight and is going to be maintaining it, if not even losing more weight at the facility under the eyes of trainers and all that. My guess is he'll stay healthy, but you know how injuries are. It only takes one horrible moment and then it all goes to crap.
So I'm going to say this is that I think he has as much chance to stay healthy as anybody else, and I think that kind of plays off what you said, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I think that the injuries are freak in nature, if you will. So if he comes in and he's cleared and he's ready to go and he works hard and it looks like he has been, obviously he looks a lot slimmer. I think he's he's at the same level of anybody else to stay healthy because you just can't control injuries. You can say that there's something to be said if they come in, out of shape and haven't worked out, but that doesn't seem to be the case right now with Mekhi Becton. So I got my fingers crossed because I think that's going to be a key and pivot. I think he's going to play a key and pivotal role to the success of our team in 23.
All right. And that brings us to number 5.
Yes, number 5.
We are in plug and play territory, people.
Yeah. We're definitely plug and play. We're definitely plug and play with this guy, Steve Avila.
Ooh, wow! I thought he'd be higher on your list. I'm actually surprised he's number 5.
So, the guys from here on out all have second round grades. Okay. So I think they're all at worst second rounders now. I might have second round grades on them. There might be guys that go in the first. There might be guys that slip into the third. But I think these guys are within the top 60 overall players in the draft, in my opinion.
Wow.
So, yeah, Steve Avila is a really, really polarizing prospect. First off, he's 6'3", 330 pounds. He played at TCU. 8 hurries last year, 2 quarterback hits and 0 sacks allowed in almost 900 snaps. Like I said, he's a huge man, strong, super sturdy base. Can't get beat with the bull rush. Has that solid anchor. Holds that strength and weight proportionally. So he's strong enough to with his punch, to stun defensive linemen and get his arms extended. And he's strong enough with a good, wide, solid base to not lose ground. We talked about, that term. I've used it a couple times, a mauler in the run game. I mean, this guy personifies it. He just thrives in power blocks and those duos, those double teams or down blocks. He just blows guys, right out of the lane. But, for a big guy, he's also quick enough to pull and get out in space and kick out at the edge and so on and so forth. He plays with excellent leverage. We talked about waist benders. Steve Avila is the opposite. Steve Avila is a knee bender. So he always keeps his power compact between his knees and his hips so he can explode. That's what he does better than any other prospect, any other interior line prospect in this draft is really utilizes his stores that power and then just it unloads it on the defensive guy. Now, he has shown at times he's had some trouble, and Steve he's a guard, but he came into the league. He came into college as a center, and he's got reps. He's got film at both center and guard. And both myself and Green Bean at the Senior Bowl had the chance to interview him. And I remember him telling Green Bean specifically, he's like, listen, I just came off of a 13-win team at TCU where I was at the left guard. He said, so, if I had my druthers, I'd stay there. But if a team wants me to play center, I can do that as well. So he's more than capable of handling either position.
Right.
The only thing is, like, his tape from 2 years ago was a lot better than his tape from this year. Not to say it was bad, but he had going into this season, there was talks about him being the first interior lineman off the board, and he played okay. He didn't play bad, but it just, he kind of leveled out. He had too many penalties. That's the one real negative I can say about Avila. He gets a little grabby, a lot of holding penalties, so on and so forth. And it seems to be that he struggles. Those holding penalties come with speed rushers, guys that come across his face, and he's just a tick too late. So he reaches out and grabs.
That could be, that's something that, again, coachable.
Absolutely coachable. And he was super, super pleasant. He was you could tell he was just like a real personable kid. He was happy to be given the opportunity. He gushed in the interview I had him. He gushed about the teammates that he had there playing with him at the Senior Bowl. Talked about what an experience it was going to the championship game. You could tell he's, very humble. I asked him specifically if he's ever been to New Jersey, and he hasn't. So
Grandizer wanted to know, who are you comparing Ricky Stromberg to again? You made some kind of comparison.
I compared him to Lloyd Cushenberry from the center from Denver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's probably a little bit bigger, size-wise than Cushenberry, but same thing. But yeah, Steve Avila is a great prospect. And if he was the first, I'll put it this way, if he was the first interior offensive lineman taken off the board, I wouldn't blink an eye at it.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I wouldn't bat an eye.
The only person I know in the world that doesn't like this prospect to some degree is Tigo. I don't know. He has something wrong. There's something wrong with him with this guy. He hates him. Thinks he's a complete bust.
Well, I don't know if he thinks it's a complete bust, but for those guys who hop around all the streams of all the other Jets content creator, I'm sure you know the name because Jets Forever is in love with him. This is one of Jets Forever's guys. He thinks
everybody here knows Jets Forever.
Yeah, so that's why that might play into some of Tigo's bias.
Right. Yeah, I know, because Tigo was like sitting there saying he's a bum. I don't know why he's on anybody's list. If the Jets pick him, I'm going to move out of town, or I don't know. He's crazy.
Listen, I would be thrilled to have a prospect and a player like Steve Avila. I really would.
Yeah,
I really would.
Sometimes Tigo gets a little crazy. He's not the best evaluator of talent, So,
yeah, it's listen. He's got all the intangibles. He comes from a winning program. He's got the size. He's not scheme specific. He's just at adept in the run game and the pass game, and he's got center and guard flexibility or positional flexibility. What more can you ask for?
I like it. I like the flexibility in positions. It seems like a good kid. I'm excited because I didn't think he'd be number 5, so I'm really excited to hear 4 guys that you think are better than him. So I mean, I know one for sure, but I didn't know there would be 3 other guys. So I'm excited. So let's move on and let's get.
Yeah, well, my comp for him is Brandon Scherf, the Jacksonville guard who was with the Washington Redskins forever. Yeah. I think that's his ceiling.
Oh my God,
he could be dominant like that. I really think so.
That's a really great ceiling. That's an awesome ceiling. Tigo doesn't know what he's talking about. So, number 4.
Another pure center, Luke Whippler, Ohio State center, 6'3", 300 pounds. Again, the best way that I can explain Whippler is that, he is your straight B plus student. B plus is across the board. You in the educational field, Jeremy, you might have some guys that are A's in math, but they really hate their language arts or their history, and they might fall down to like C's and D's and so on and so forth. Where they might be like this. Whippler is just as steady as they come. He's got the highest floor of all these prospects. And that floor. So he's going to be a good player. He might not have the ceiling of a guy like Avila or some of the other guys like we're going to talk about. He might not, reach that, have that higher. He might have a lower ceiling than them, but you're going to get a guy that comes in here and works. He's not my comp to him play wise, but just think, oh my God. Kind of think like Mangold. Okay. Again, not a player comp to Mangold, but Mangold came in, right? He came in, he was drafted, you put him in, and then you didn't think about him for 12 years, right?
Right.
And he just produced. He came to work every day, he played all the time, rarely missed, so on and so forth. That's Whippler in a nutshell. It's funny that they both went to Ohio State.
Nice.
Yeah. So he plays, he's not the biggest guy, again, at 6'3", 300, but he plays with leverage and with he has excellent body control, meaning he can, he plays with his hips very well. He'll always turn defenders to form those running lanes. He's super smart. Like I said, he plays with good leverage and uses good angles. Super, super technical with his hands. Never good hand punch, never good punch, and always in the right placement for leverage. And again, he's super agile. He's a great blocker in space at the second level. He's got good lateral quickness, so he can pull out on those, screens and traps and stuff like that from the center position. The negatives to Whippler is that it's not very big at 6'3", 300. He's probably a tick under 300, to be honest with you. Being that small, he's going to struggle a little bit at times against a true big zero tech. A true pass rush. He needs to anchor a little bit better. And he also is, I don't know if this is a negative, but he's only ever, I thought it was interesting. He's only ever played center from when he started in Pee Wee football until now. He's only ever played center.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Yeah, normally when you're a kid, you're all over the field, this and that, but he's only played center. I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. So I comped him to Garrett Bradbury, the center from the Minnesota Vikings. They have a very, very comparable body style and game style, and Bradbury is like, he was when he came into the league, out of college, he was the prototypical outside zone blocking center, the guy that could get out there, and he does that very well. He has struggled mightily against the run in college. I'm not saying Whippler is going to. I think Whippler's a little bit more better because he's more technical than Bradbury was. And he's got a little bit more, size and mass and functional strength than Bradbury does. But there's a lot of comparables in the rest of their game. So, and again, I think Whippler's a second round pick. I think all these guys from Avila on are all second round picks.
I'll see. I mean, and not to argue that, do you think there's any possibility? Well, of course you're going to say yes, there's a possibility. How ridiculous would it be for us to hope for Whippler to slip to our third round pick?
No, I don't think it's out of the realm. I don't think it's out of the realm. He could drop to the third, but I think he's, I think what he brings to the skill set, like the skill set that he brings, is going to be very much in demand for a team that is in need of a true zone blocking center.
I feel I feel like there's a chance that means that we're gonna have two pure centers drafted in the second round. It seems like a lot.
Yeah, listen. Again, these are just where I think they're going to fall. Mm-hmm. And when you'll understand what I'm talking about with the next guy, because Whippler could fall to the third round.
Right, but there is a
Um,
but to be hon but for your to argue why you could be very, very well on target here is because there is a need for center in this league.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of teams that have switched now to um the zone that outside zone scheme that he is prototypical for. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I could see him being an end of the second round pick without question. I it wouldn't surprise me in the least if he was an end of the second round pick. Could he fall to us at 70, whatever we're at in the third? Sure, he could. Anything could happen, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it this way. I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket saying that we're gonna have him. We're gonna be able to get him in the third round. Is that fair?
That's fair enough. Fair
Fair
enough.
enough. Yeah.
Let's Here we go. Let's drum roll. Top 3.
Yes. Number 3,
Number 3.
Osiris Torrance, guard, University of Florida. 6'5", 350 pounds, probably arguably everyone's number one guard, number one interior lineman. I just beg to differ. And that's not negative. I just think very, very highly of the next two cats.
Mhm.
Because Osiris Torrance is he's just a big, big man. He is massive. He is massive. He is strong as an ox. Again, a dominant run blocker. I mean, he
And
just
with
moved.
Cyrus, with a guy named Osiris, every
Mhm.
time he plows a hole, and then you could see an instant replay, he makes a good play. You can almost hear MetLife. They're going to play on the audio from the Warriors. Can you dig it?
Right?
Cyrus, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah. So he's just he's just a really big physical massive specimen, that just moves people in the run game, and for a big guy, 350 pounds, 349 pounds, actually, he's very light on his feet, and he moves well. He can pull. It's not his forte, but Harlan, no, he is not. He is strictly a guard, like strictly a guard, and probably strictly a right guard. Which is why I have him at number 3. Um, there's he fits power scheme, power blocking schemes only. He's not going to be, a guy that gets out into the second level very well, and kind of and kind of dominate there. He does his business when you have a big nose tackle there and you ask Osiris Torrance to just block down and just drive him out of the way. That's where he does his work. He, like I said, he's very scheme specific. There's not a lot of teams. I don't think, if the Jets continue to with Nathaniel Hackett and run his version of the, Shanahan West Coast scheme, I don't think Osiris Torrance is a fit for the Jets. I would love it, but I
Yeah, I'm
just don't.
about to say it. It sounds like it's very incredibly unlikely this guy would become a Jet.
Yeah, correct.
Incredibly unlikely. Maybe a Miami.
Maybe. I mean, listen. Never say never. I mean, that sometimes you just at that point you just take the talent on the board, But I'll say this: he's not a pick at 13. I don't have a first round grade on him, and he's not going to be there probably when we pick in the second round because somebody's going to he's going to go somewhere between 20 and 40 if I had to guess.
Right.
Like I said, power game. Seattle is a really good fit. For him. Denver is a really good fit, even though I don't think they have a first round pick anymore. But like that kind of scheme, if you want your quarterback to kind of drop back and get into those 5 and 7 step traditional dropbacks from the center, you want big nasties in front of them, right? You want your guards to be bigger and not give up ground in the pass game, so on and so forth. That's the kind of scheme that he's going to fit, man. He leans a little bit, you know what I mean? And when he leans, he puts his head down. No, you saw that in Senior Bowl week. You saw that on tape a lot.
Yeah.
That won't, he gets away with it because he's so big and strong in the college game. Is that he's just physically dominant over him, and he won't get away with that in the NFL a lot. So
No,
that's
definitely
just some technique stuff that he's going to have to work on. And like I said, I have I have a round 2 grade on him, but he's, he'll probably, he could easily go in the back half of the first round. Like I said, he'll go somewhere from 20 to 40. He's just not my favorite. You know, because I think he's very, very, the thing that gets me is that he's very, very scheme specific, and the other 2 guys that we're going to talk about next, number 2 and number 1, are, they're very, very much versatile. So,
right.
Yeah.
So let's go to
number 2.
The number 2 interior lineman that Dom C has ranked in this draft, and this is someone I think that we would be very happy to get if we were Jet fans. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Andrew Voorhees, the guard from USC. Voorhees is 6'6", 325 pounds, 725 snaps in 2022. He did let up 12 hurries, only 1 quarterback hit, no sacks allowed. He's just he athletically, he just kills it. I mean, from his burst off of the line to what he can do when asked to pull or move laterally at the line of scrimmage, to more so what he can do in the second level. He's prototypical for a zone blocking scheme, but he's got enough chops and he's strong and thick enough, like NFL strength, to not only be typecasted into that scheme specific zone blocking thing. He's a great pass blocker. He does everything. He shows good balance, good pad level, and he's really, really, really powerful. He's a big guy, 6'6", 325. So, he's never been asked to really be a straight up forward, block the guy in front of you and that's it. Your typical power offensive skill set. That's just not what USC does. So he's got to show that he's, he can handle that. He can handle a guy that's, head up on him. He, again, just like a lot of these guys, a lot of these bigger guys, he tends to bend at the waist a little bit more, so he loses leverage and he loses, he generates power, but he loses a lot of that when he's out leveraged. And for him, he's just going to have to get a little bit better technically. Now, he bounced around from right guard to left tackle to left guard. So he's played the gamut all through college. So I think that has a little bit to do with the techniques, because different, the way your feet move, the way your hands move, the way your hips move, you bounce around. It's not the easiest thing, especially for a 22-year-old kid, and I think you're going to like his comp that I have in the NFL. I comp him to his former teammate, AVT.
Wow.
The guy reminds me of Elijah Vera Tucker, and maybe that's why, Cianalti, and maybe that's why I have him ranked so high, because I think the guy plays just like him, man. He plays just like him.
Wow, that would be. I mean, now, do you think the Jets have any interest? Because I know it's like would they take him and put him at center or?
I don't think he plays center, but I think he's more, like I said, I think he's going to excel as a guard in the NFL. His highest ceiling is going to be at guard, but he's a guy that could kick outside to tackle. He's got enough chops, and he can handle edge rushers, and his kick step is good, so he can manage there. I just think he's going to be better fit as a guard in the NFL.
So I mean, it sounds to me that if we were to pick him, first of all, it would have to be second round, because we're not picking him at 13. No way. I mean, only because of need. And when you look at the whole scale, there's just no way. But like, if they were to take him in the second round, would you say that was guaranteed in your mind? JD just took the best player on the board.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe, and listen, he's got enough length to play tackle. And maybe JD or other GMs or scouting teams will see him as a tackle. I mean, like I said, he's got the footwork to be able to do it. He's got the strength. He's another guy. He's another offensive lineman that made the Bruce Feldman freak list. I think he bench pressed 225 like 45 times, like a ridiculous amount. The guy's the guy's a beast. So maybe he could kick out, and maybe JD will peg him as the tackle. Is that all right? He missed out on his first three on his list, and he says, "Okay, my next tier of tackles involves Voorhees, so I'll pass in the first round, and let's see if we can grab him in the second." You know, yeah. So
Wow. That leaves one player. I mean, look, I love what you said about it, him being like AVT. If he's there in the second round, or if we trade back him, late in the first round, you just grab him and you figure it out later. I mean, like sometimes you just have to grab a great player if he's the top guy on the board, right?
Yeah.
If he's the top guy on the board. Now, I know most of us know exactly who the next name is going to be. There's no way he didn't make your top 10. So there's the only option is that this guy I know because I've been talking, all week. I've been talking with you all week while you were at the Senior Bowl.
yeah,
So I know who you're going to name. Right
yeah.
now.
The number one interior lineman, and who's been my number one interior lineman for a while now. I've been talking about John Michael Schmitz before he became a thing. And that's him, man. He's him.
John Michael Schmitz.
6-year center, 6-year player, starter at Minnesota, 320 some odd pounds at 6'4". The guy plays like he does everything well. And for those of you who are on Twitter or whatnot, if you just go ahead and search for him, you're going to see some blocks that he made in the 11v11 like scrimmages, when they're drilling. Not the drill. He does very well in the drill, and he holds his own against big, powerful interior linemen against the fast guys. The guy plays with nasty. He was the one who was always like pushing back, like after the whistle. Like you can, and even in the game, like he finishes his blocks. He's powerful enough to handle big men that are lined up zero tech in front of him, and he's agile enough to get out in the second level. But like some of the stuff that he did in the Senior Bowl, is ridiculous. There's one play specifically where he's on a duo, so he blocks down on the guy, guard picks him up, he gets into the second level, he runs over the linebacker, and then the running back cuts back right behind him, and he's step for step with the running back and takes out the safety. He literally made single-handedly led the running back to a 60-something yard touchdown.
Wow.
It was ridiculous, and he's got great pop. He's filled out, like he's not frail. He's sturdy. He's got a good anchor, so he can handle those bull rushes good. He's agile enough and plays with good footwork to manage mirroring the other guys. He turns defenders extremely well. Like I said, he uses leverage and balance. Now he's going to be, there's definitely some negative. Like I said, doesn't have the longest arms, but centers really, that doesn't affect centers too well. He's good and he's agile and he's quick and he's strong, but he's not that elite. He doesn't have that elite athleticism, and he's going to be a 24-year-old rookie. Like I said, he took, he's a 6-year senior, had a red shirt, had an injury as an 18-year-old, and then took the COVID year. So he's going to be a 24-year-old prospect. So yeah, there's not much more to say.
I never cared about that. Like
I think the age it has less to do. I think age is important when you're talking about skill positions,
right?
Because you want to see when you want to talk about breakout ages, especially with guys that play cornerback or play wide receiver. When did they really break out? At what age did they break out? Because guys who use their speed and agility as their money makers, they're going to lose that first. The offensive linemen, you see these guys that they can play, high level football well into their 30s. Where you don't see the same thing from a running back or wide receiver.
Right. This guy can play 10 years in the league, and okay, he'll be 35 and then he'll retire. Fine. If we got him for 10 years and we have our center for 10 years getting quality play at center, we're more than happy. right?
And there's another little interesting thing about him. It's not that interesting, but I think it holds it holds something very well. He was a high school state wrestling champion. There's something about wrestlers that translates very well into offensive linemen. They understand balance. They understand leverage. I mean, so somebody who has that skill set is somebody that would move right up my board. I mean that wholeheartedly.
Plus,
know?
they're not afraid of physicality.
That's right. That's right. The last Minnesota or Tristan Wirfs also was a high school wrestling champion.
Okay, our very old elderly friend John Nolte wants to know: will Schmitz most likely go in the first round?
So
I hope not.
I'm gonna say this, Nolte. I think that there's a lot of buzz around him. I mean, there's no other outside of Darnell Wright and DeJuan Jones. I don't think that there's another offensive lineman that got as much buzz as John Michael Schmitz. So he was originally I think he was a second round pick. He could play himself up into the back end of the first round. It wouldn't surprise me if a team like Buffalo or Philadelphia. Well, actually, Philadelphia just drafted last year. They drafted Cam Jurgens, so they're probably out of the mix. But somebody in the end of that first round, that had a hole or could pick the best player available. It wouldn't surprise me if he went, but more than likely, no. I think he's still going to be in the second round. And 2 weeks ago, I would have said that the Jets wouldn't have to move, and if they really, really wanted him in the late 40s where we pick, he would be there. I'm not so sure about that now.
If he was available when it was our turn to pick in the second round, we're running to the podium. We're sprinting to the podium.
Well, if we don't sign McGovern, we are.
Yeah. He knows the movie reference I was thinking. I'm not old. You there, old woman. I'm not old. I'm not a woman. This is the channel where you could talk Jets all day, but you're also gonna hear references to very old movies. And don't forget we had that honorable mention before, like Grandize is putting all the guys out there. So look, it seems though it's not the best class in the world for interior linemen, but it seems that because there is a drop off after 5, it seems to drop off.
Yeah, listen,
some years you might have 10 guys that you love that you call plug and play.
Every draft class every year has positions of strength and positions of weakness. I think the interior offensive linemen and the interior defensive linemen are probably weaker than they have been in years in this draft.
But if we were to get this guy Smith, it would be
Schmitz.
irrelevant. If we were to get this guy Schmitz, it would be irrelevant because we would have gotten a great play. It doesn't matter because we got Schmitz. We got the best center in the class.
Yeah. There, like I said, there's guys that are they're the top 5 or 6. They're going to be very good NFL football players. Comparison for John Michael Schmitz. I don't know if I put one in my my preview. Let me pull up my draft guide. Ugh, I can't pull it up right now. Let me think. Let me get back to you, Grandizer.
Let's just say this, Grandizer. He's going to be a very good center.
Yeah. Kevin Mawai. That's not an active NFL player, but Kevin Mawai is a guy that Schmitz reminds me of.
Jeez, if he has,
and he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
that might be a little grandiose, but
yeah, that'll be fine.
But he moves like Mawai. He's strong and he can anchor against the big guys like Mawai did. So,
I love it. Look at this, Nolte with the giant freaking super chat. Thank you, John Nolte. And I'm not old. Great breakdown. Great job doing it. Thanks, John Nolte. We appreciate the super chat. Grandizer is very big help. Obviously, you all see what he does for the channel. So we appreciate him. especially I love how he just puts the names up of the guys you're talking about. So so we know, so people who come in know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you too, John Nolte. Appreciate you in the chat. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. And you're always here supporting the channel, man. So thank you. And tonight was a great night. I always look forward to these Sunday night shows because I feel it's the best content as far as the different shows bring different things. Like so my Wednesday show, we laugh and we joke around as entertainment kind of takes and this and that. But I like this show because to me it goes beyond just the Jets. For anybody who discovers this show, it's very informative.
Yeah.
And for people who are curious and want to know about the players coming out of this year's draft and and like if there any fan of any team, if you know who your team is in need of, like, oh, our team needs a safety or a cornerback, you watch this show, you find the episode on that position, and you're going to get 10 good names and you're going to have a good idea of what's out there for your team. So I think that's good stuff. Thank you so much for the super chat, John. I appreciate it. And now, I think everybody likes the mock drafts a lot better too. It's a good point. Do you want to do a quick mock because we are way ahead of schedule? And
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's
First,
do
I
one.
see a super chat from Thomas Cahill. Thanks, brother. So we got Schmitz and Dewan on the outside. Look, that would be amazing to me, especially if we traded down and got that. Like if we traded that 13 pick down to the 20s, added some extra draft capital, extra pick this year, and a first rounder next year, which is what it seems to be offering. And like if we were to be able to pull that off, and we ended up with those two guys and a extra number one for next year and another second rounder this year, I would be freaking thrilled. Wouldn't you, Dom?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would be thrilled. It would be just amazing.
So if you're going to pull up a mock, we're going to do a quick one. Can I make one request?
Yeah.
Don't use PFN.
Okay.
Change the because we always use those. You always use those.
What are we going to use?
Monday Night Mock is going to use those. I like Mock Draft Database personally. I think that's the best one.
Mock Draft. Oh, there it is. Mock Draft. Okay, I don't know the interface very well, so we're probably not going to do much.
It's simple.
Trades.
It's simple.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, it's simple. You'll be able to figure it out. But you want to go to the Jets and pick 7 rounds.
Yeah, let me find the Jets here. I'm setting it up for everybody.
Yeah.
7. Select the year.
So I'm gonna while you're doing that, I'm gonna get in the chat here. Finger Lakes, what's up, my guy? I see you all the time, man. You're awesome supporter of all these, all of us Jets content creators. So thank you. As most of you guys are, but he says, Dom and Jeremy, does it seem more logical to trade down from 13, recoup a second? Do you see that more than staying at 13? So I've been of the belief, Finger Lakes, that that Joe Douglas very well might trade out down from 13 and trade out of the first round altogether. Especially if we're still tight up against the cap and so on and so forth. If we bring in just say hypothetical, we bring in a quarterback, doesn't matter which one it is, and that quarterback is $35-40 million. And we have to make some cuts to fit that quarterback in the salary cap. So I'm just making up names. Say you cut Lawson, you cut Davis, you cut Whitehead, and you cut Braxton Berrios. And you also don't bring back Quan or Quincy, and you have to replace. You're going to have holes to fill. Being tight up against the cap, why not fill some of those holes with cheaper draft picks than a first rounder that might cost at 13 is going to cost you $4.5 million next year? Why not take a second rounder that might only cost you $850,000 and get a couple of those? So I think if there's a year where we trade out of the first round altogether, it could be this year.
Yeah.
So,
hey, just a question. It says select the not the speed. I don't care about that. Select your preferred draft order: pre-draft, post-draft.
Just do I don't know, post-draft and then standard, or whatever one it was on. Is it
That's what I
whatever
did.
one is on?
Yep, that's what I did. Okay.
Yeah.
Enter draft room. Let's see what
Yeah.
happens.
Okay. So can
All
you
right.
can you maximize that? Is that as big as it gets?
Why is it small?
It's a little small, I think.
Can you tell me if this helps? Let me see if
Oh yeah, that's good. That's too big. Too big. Too big. Right
okay.
there.
Okay.
So
So-
as you see, if you scroll down, Jeremy, you'll see those are our picks on the side. Nope, those are all that's their rankings. Our
Right.
picks,
These are
our
our picks.
Jets picks are on the side.
Nice.
And then if you hit start right up there, that orange button, it'll get us going. And they're going to give us trades. Now, I found that their trade requests suck. Like they're all like this.
Okay, so they want our 13
For a
their
third, fourth,
97.
fifth, sixth, and a first rounder next year. Some of these trades, that's the one negative about this thing is that their trade requests that they propose are just silly. Now,
Right.
if you wanted to formulate a trade, you could do that, you know.
Let's just keep it simple.
Yeah, that's fine. Keep it simple, man.
Whoa, what the hell? How many freaking trades are
Yeah,
missing?
that's the look at this. 2, 3, 6, 7, 7, and a fifth.
Okay, so here we are. Here's the players that are available. We got 2 wide receivers on top, which sucks value-wise for us. We don't care about them this year. Look at Anthony Richardson hanging out there. Imagine we picked him, the shock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not gonna happen. Not
Brian
gonna happen.
Richardson.
So you see the positions there. You can
Look,
click
they're
on
even suggesting Branch. They're suggesting Brian Branch.
they suggest them based off of the team needs here.
Yeah.
You know, so they're saying safety is high on there, you know.
Right. Broderick Jones was on there. I saw him go by. I see Anton Harrison is
Anton
on there.
Harrison. Yep. Very
He'd
good.
He'd be later. I think in this situation without a trade, if this was our who was that? 1 second. DeJuan Jones at 41. I think in if this was our situation, I would grab Brian Branch here. How about you?
I mean, you can make an argument for Broderick Jones. I think, you know, it really depends on where you like the tackles. You know, I happen to like a bunch of the tackles later, so I'd be fine with passing on tackle here. I know that that's probably not going to be what the chat would do or would want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, listen, I would take Brian Branch is he's a top 5 player in the draft class for me. Like I think he's that good. You know, the knock on him and why I think, you know, he's probably not. There's probably why he wouldn't be our pick at 13 is twofold. One is because I still question how much Joe Douglas really, really values a safety. I just don't know if this is going to be too high for his valuation to take. And second, you know, Brian Branch, although he's versatile, you know, he's, you know, as our team is constituted right now, you know, right now the 2 positions that Brian Branch would probably excel at in the NFL would be that overhang safety or that box safety, where we have Jordan Whitehead, or a nickel cornerback, where we have Michael Carter II. Now, he can play free safety. He absolutely can. You know, but, you know, he does a lot more of his damage when he's closer to the line. So I don't know if you're taking a guy where, you know, and maybe this is just one of those things where he's the best player on Joe Douglas' board and he takes him, you know. So I'd be fine with it. You know, I could also consider trading down and acquiring. So if you scroll up, Jeremy, no, on the other side. Yeah.
Oh.
See where it says that trade? See trade?
Which one?
All the way up. Go up, 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 up.
Yeah, trade.
Yeah. Hit on trade. And then you can hit the drop down box on the opposite team. And you can pick your team and then you can pick your trade and they'll tell you if it'll go through or not. But you don't have to do that. I'm just saying that's the option with here.
No, it's nice to kind of mess around. We do this and then we say, what if we took your third also and your second round next year?
Try it.
Or first round next year.
Nah, that might be getting too greedy.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're saying it would be accepted. They're saying it's a fair trade.
Wow. Well, let me see what it says if I got greedy and said first round.
Too much.
Well,
So
I
now it won't be.
didn't deduct this one. It won't let me take this one away,
Oh.
and now it won't let me take this one away. Like, this is stupid. Come on. What the hell? It doesn't let you like get rid of them.
I don't know. I've never had that problem.
Oh man. Okay. I don't know how to like
Go up and try just switching the team. Just get out of Baltimore.
Yeah. I just want to see right away.
So
if
I'm trying to think who's in the 20s. Who would want to trade up? Who would want a wide receiver? You know who would? The Giants. New York Giants. They're in desperate need of a wide receiver.
1-for-1 trades not allowed. What are you talking about? What the hell is they talking about?
You only have one thing. Hit the 122, 1.22.
Oh, there we go. I want to see something here.
That's not enough.
Not enough. Oh.
You got no. Scroll up, Jeremy. There. You didn't add in number 22 overall.
Oh.
Scroll down. Now scroll down.
Oh man, I don't like this interface. Too much.
So see if you can throw them back a late round pick next year.
Yeah. Let's see if we give them the 5th rounder next year. Ooh, close. Oh.
I don't
know. And we'll give them
trade with the Giants. Trade with the Giants, man.
Okay.
The Giants could use a wide receiver.
Okay. Where are they?
You got to drop down box.
Okay, I got it. Now we got to take their 25.
Mm-hmm.
Taking our 13. Okay, there we go. We're gonna ask for their 3rd round this year.
I'd say I'd go for 57. You're going up 12 spots, 57. Where does that leave us? Scroll down before you click on anything else.
I know. Okay.
Wait, why does that?
Why does it still? You see what I'm saying? It's really annoying.
I don't know. I don't know what's
It's saying not enough. But hold on. What if we
get a pick from that next year? See if you can get a first.
Let's just for the hell of it, just to make it happen.
No, you're giving up.
Not enough.
They're saying the Jets are giving up too much.
Oh, okay. There we go. Boom. Starts over.
Okay.
So, man, this interface sucks. Sorry.
Take their second next year and call it a day.
Okay. So look, first for this, and this. Is it saying it's good? Let's see. I can't.
Yeah, saying it's
great.
Acceptable.
Okay, beautiful.
Take it.
That's what we want. Okay.
So now we're down to 25. Just
reject these.
Yeah.
So we have 1 million of them now.
Look at the Giants. They want to offer us two drafts.
Oh my God, it's nonstop. Okay. So who's here? Look,
Brian
Brandt still there, and Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a good trade then. Look, and Osiris is there too.
Yeah.
So now the question is, who do we want? Do we want Branch or Broderick? I think we decided Broderick would be the better pick, right?
Yeah, I'd go with Broderick.
Okay. It says it's an A+ move.
Reject.
My God, look at that though.
I know. And here we are. So
we'd already have our tackle. Now we're looking.
Now go to the if you click on IOL over here, it'll give you your interior offensive lineman. And Schmitz is still there too. Voorhees is still there. Avila is still there.
See, I'm drafting Schmitz right now.
Take him right now.
Boom. I love it. Okay, let's just keep rejecting. Now we'll just go through real fast. We proved our point. We got to where we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go all. Now we get to just play fun, right? So look at that Jordan Battle they want us to take. Oh, Henry Toto. He's popular.
No, I don't want that.
You're not a fan of his.
Not a fan.
Chris Smith at safety. I forgot how you feel about him.
No, I like Chris Smith. I like
but
Chris
not
Smith.
as much as Battle.
No, I had him. I have Smith ranked higher than Battle. Although, like I said, after I have to adjust my. I just saw the guy I would take. Absolutely.
Who's
But
that?
I have to adjust my safety rankings because there's guys that really showed up well at the Senior Bowl who I'm going to move up. Jamie Robinson being one of them. That guy was awesome. That was
Who
phenomenal.
would you take here?
Who would I take at this pick? Scroll. Keep going.
Skinner?
Keep going. Nope. Skinner, I mean, you could take him absolutely right there.
This guy?
Kalijah Cansey, man, he's so good.
Really?
Yeah, he is. He's my DT2. He's my DT number 2. I think defensive tackle falls off a board after guys like Kalijah Cansey or Siaki Ika, if you like him. I don't think there's a lot of value. There's guys that have played well, especially in the Senior Bowl, but that's the guy I would take.
And even overtaking a safety.
Yeah, I think there's again we're picking again in 14 picks. I think some of these guys are still going to be here, but
okay. Now let's reject.
Mhm.
Reject. Tigo's going crazy.
and look, Battle's still there. Battle's still there. JL Skinner's still there. Chris
all
Smith
still
is still
there.
there. They're all still there. So, now you want to go Battle? That's cool. Whichever one of those safeties, I'd be fine with any of them.
I like Chris Smith better.
You like Chris Smith better? There he is, Chris Smith.
And there we go. Now let's go down to 112. Oh, I saw Jack Campbell. I got excited for a second. I was like, whoa, still there at 112?
Yeah.
Look at this. They want us to take a wide receiver now? Well, that's not now the cornerback makes no sense to me. We're not taking a cornerback. I don't know why people are why there's I don't understand why they think we need a cornerback. Nathaniel Dell, what do you think of him?
Tank Dell was probably the best wide receiver in Mobile.
Wow.
Probably the best wide receiver in Mobile, without a doubt. He was so good. He was so good. Now, he's also he led the nation in receptions last year. He's a small guy though. He's going to I put it like this. Think Kadarius Toney, but even faster and quicker than Kadarius Toney. That's Nathaniel Dell.
See, I like that. Let's just take him. Just
Okay.
because we just got to get through this.
I like him, man. I like that.
It's
I would
an
take.
A+ pick. Look at that.
I'd take an edge here, man. That's where. Diane Henley. Take Henley.
Okay, hold on a second.
There he
The
is.
linebacker. You like him, huh?
He was. Yeah, he's really growing on me, man. His film is good, and he was so good in the Senior Bowl this week.
Oh, I saw Herbig's brother.
Yeah, there's a bunch
So
of
here
guys
we
here.
are, very late. They're
Look,
offering
they're offering a
first
1
round
and a
pick.
2. That's what I'm saying. Their proposals are stupid.
Come on, that would never happen.
No, I told
Of course,
you.
I would take that if we could. Look at this. They're offering us
A 6th, a 7th, and 2 mid-round picks next
out of
year.
their
for this.
minds. Look at this.
Look, a 1, a 2, a 4, and a 5.
Come on, that's stupid. That's
is.
so stupid.
It is.
Oh, Ali Gay, the edge.
I
You
like
wanted
that.
an edge, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Isaiah
but this
McGuire.
one's better.
I like McGuire. I really like it. In all honesty, I really like Isaiah McGuire. He's a guy very similar to skill set to JFM, where he can play out. He can play outside. He can also move inside. He's got enough bend to get at the quarterback and enough power to handle. Seal the edge on the rush. I like Isaiah McGuire a lot, actually.
Yeah. Bryce Hall doesn't have a large contact. What are you talking about, Diego? Bryce Hall does not have a large contract.
And there's our draft, guys.
What is he talking about? Bryce Hall's in his fourth year, and it's not a large contract, and he didn't even dress. So I don't understand. Eccles is good. What are we gonna like? We just don't need a cornerback. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. A+, A, C+, A+, A+, A+. Oh, he's talking about Harden.
They liked our draft. If this was our draft, I would be doing backflips, honestly. But there's probably not a better draft that I could have picked. Maybe
and
Broderick.
we got a first round pick for next year.
Yeah, maybe not
Oh,
Broderick.
yeah.
Broderick Jones isn't my favorite tackle, but he's good. He's not bad. But outside of that, like obviously you guys just learned Schmitz is my number one offensive interior lineman. Calais Cansey's my number 2 overall defensive lineman. Chris Smith is my 4th ranked safety. I have to readjust my wide receiver, so I can't even say that Nathaniel Dell, where he falls. Henley is my number 9 ranked inside linebacker, and Isaiah McGuire is my number 5 edge. This would be an ideal. This is like a Dom Kutry wet dream right here.
Well, it's giving me great draft grades too. So the only pick it didn't like was Cansey, but screw them. If he's anything like a JFM, I'll take it, right?
No, Cansey's not like a JFM. Cansey's undersized. Cansey's only 6 feet tall, 280 pounds, but he's fast and he's agile and he knows how to use leverage. Very similar to another undersized defensive tackle that played at Pitt once, named Aaron Donald. Just saying.
I would take an Aaron Donald on the team.
Right. And that's it, guys.
Thank you, Dom. We appreciate it. Hey, thanks for everybody for being here. There you have it. I always like to get one of the guys we're talking about, selected onto the team in a draft. And we did that. We got your number 1 guy. We got him after trading down. We got him with our 2nd pick overall. Mm-hmm. And we didn't even use the baloney. We used the better mock draft simulator, and we still managed to get him. So yeah. Hardy, fine. Talk. I hear you, Tigo. Yeah. I have no problem getting rid of Hardy. No problem getting rid of him. Because even though they're saying Pro Bowler, this, that, I didn't feel his presence that much to the point where I'd be all upset if we didn't have him. Just get, I
don't think he's under contract for next year, if I'm not mistaken. I think Hardy's contract's done this year.
It was a 2-year deal, right? He's a free agent.
I believe he's free agent. I could be wrong.
Yeah, look, I don't want to pay him anything more than, anything's real money at all. I mean, we probably, but we can cut him without any dead cap hit for sure. There's no way JD guaranteed him for a 3rd year out. But
yeah,
I just look. He makes great tackles. I know he's solid at that position and what he does. He does what he does, but at the same time, he offers nothing as a player. We can't bring him in for anything else, and he gets a lot of stupid off ball penalties, which is just. I thought it would go away this year, and it didn't.
Yeah.
Like he continues to get stupid penalties, and it's just like that wipes it away when he does stuff like that,
Yeah. So $2.3 million cap hit. None of it is guaranteed.
We can cut him for free. I mean, look, $2.3 million. I don't care if they keep him or not keep him.
Yeah, I for that price, I'd probably keep him. He does, he does serve a purpose.
I would keep him and tell him, listen, shithead. If you get one off-ball penalty, you hit a guy late out of bounds, you throw your helmet, you do anything like that, I'm cutting you.
The last time we cut a Pro Bowler was Jason Myers. That didn't work out too well. Didn't. So
he's just got to knock it off.
Yeah. So Grandizer are asking what positional group next week. Now next week is the Super Bowl, so I can't.
No, we're not going to have a show next week.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't guarantee it anything next week.
No, we're gonna let everybody have their party and everything and do all their fun stuff.
Yeah, but the week after, what do you want to do? You want to do what?
Defensive line?
Want to do defensive line or edge or wide receivers or what? You tell me.
Let's do wide receivers, just because it's a desirable position, whether we need them that much or not. And I think that I kind of think we need a wide receiver. I think we're not going to re-sign Corey Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to let him go. I don't think he's going to restructure with us. And I think, I like Elijah a lot, but I mean, Elijah Moore's not proven yet. I mean, let's face it. Look at his numbers. I mean, we think it's because of, we think he's a victim of a situation, but we don't know that. Yeah. And
I question how.
We have a Garrett Wilson, other side of Garrett Wilson? It's a compliment.
I question how Elijah Moore is going to fit in Nathaniel Hackett's scheme too. He has a tendency to prefer bigger, the big slot guys
Mhm.
who really prove something in with their run blocking, with their blocking skills. For instance, he was in Denver, KJ Hamler, who has a very similar skill set to Elijah Moore, barely saw any playing time. Couldn't block. He wasn't on the field. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we trade him.
I don't know.
Wouldn't be-
I don't know.
wouldn't be a
I mean,
shock.
maybe he just develops, and I'm wrong, and Nathaniel Hackett has switched his mindset. But I'm just saying from his past. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett's a run first guy, so he
Yeah.
does run a lot of 12 personnel. And when he is split out wide, when he does have multiple receivers on the field, he tends to lean towards like the big slots,
Mm.
So not Elijah Moore's forte, that's for sure. Blocking.
It wouldn't be a shocker if he was traded. Maybe he's going to be part of the Aaron Rodgers haul.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think there's a chance we're going to need wide receivers. So join us in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Mhm.
We'll be back to go over the top wide receivers in this year's draft. Thanks so much, Dom. Everybody loves you. Everybody appreciates you. You do an amazing job. You're the man. Everybody, I'll see you Wednesday. Thank you so much for everybody for being here, for all your participation. Everybody that watches it later during the week, appreciate it all. Please remember to hit the like button. It really helps.
One thing, please,
Yeah.
before you cut off, if you guys
Yeah.
are around, please hop on. I will be with Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 tomorrow, 8 to 10. And as usual, I co-host the 10 o'clock mock on Green Bean Jets Fans channel. I don't know what the scenario that we're putting into play tomorrow is, but it's sure going to be a good one. So please come check out and support Jets Talk 24/7 tomorrow, and support the 10 o'clock mock with me and Green Bean.
Super, super exciting. Big day for you tomorrow. Congratulations on that opportunity. And everybody, you heard him. Dom C all night long tomorrow night. You guys enjoy that. Thanks, Dom. Take care, everybody.
All right, guys.
Oh yeah. Go. Amazing. That's my boy. That's my boy.
He breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down.
Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch.
He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too.
It's no good.
Overtime.
Oh, what a catch. How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown.
This is a touchdown all the way.
He reached over the pylon. San Francisco beats Cincinnati.